Hello, my name is Henley Gavin, and I'm a senior 4-H'er from Lexington County. And today I'll be presenting on the invisible collapse, why the world is growing quiet. I want you to imagine a world where crickets no longer chirp in the summertime, where fireflies no longer light up our night skies, and where wildflowers no longer bloom across our countryside. That is a world without insects, a world that is quiet, dark, and lifeless. Insects in decline. As you might have heard across the news, insects are in decline. And in a study done by the Center of Biological Diversity, it was found that over 20 years, insects have seen a 70% decline within their populations across our country. Not only can this pose serious environmental concerns, but this also serves as a concern to our farmers as well as our economy as a whole. But why are insects even important in the first place? While you might originally think of just pollination as being the only things insects contribute, they also contribute a lot to our food chain as well as being very beneficial decomposers. First, pollination. Did you know that 30% of our crops grown in the United States require pollination by insects to grow? This includes our almonds, our blueberries, as well as apples. Not only that, but many of our wildflower species, as well as different bushes, require insects to pollinate them to be able to spread their seeds. This means that without pollinators like our bees and butterflies, we also wouldn't have beautiful wildflowers. Next, decomposition. Did you know that 30% of the dead wood found within our forest is decomposed by different insects such as termites and beetles? Not only does this play a crucial factor when it comes to redistributing nutrients throughout our forest, but it also keeps our forest cleaner and at less risk for fire. Decomposers also play an important part in making sure our roadkill and other animal waste doesn't go unchecked. This helps from diseases being spread, as well as keeping our world a cleaner place overall. Next, the food chain. Did you know that insects are found in every single continent? Yes, including Antarctica. And because of this, many animals have become reliant on them as a food source, primarily our bird species, as 70% of our birds have been reliant on insects at some point in their life as a food source. Not only that, but many other animals, such as our amphibians, as well as some species of fish, are insectivores, meaning that they solely rely on insects as their food source. A cascading effect. If insects were to go extinct, this would cause a cascading effect across our world. Not only would we see ecological collapses with many bird species dying out, we would also see a collapse within our agriculture, as many farmers rely on plants that are pollinated by insects. If insects were to die out, this would mean that those farmers would be left stranded, trying to find a way to not only make money, but to keep their business going. Another thing that would happen is that many people would go hungry, as 2.8 billion people across our world rely on insects as a protein source around their countries. And so, without insects, not only animals, but people would also go hungry. But you might be wondering, what species of insects are even endangered in the first place? Now, there are over 1,000 insect species that are currently endangered, but these three were some that really stuck out to me. First, the Queen Alexandra's birdwing. This butterfly has a wingspan of over 5 inches. Not only that, it's the largest species of butterfly in the world. But unfortunately, due to the pet trade, many of these butterflies are taken out of the wild and are no longer, and their populations have been depleted in the wild. meaning that this beautiful butterfly has unfortunately become critically endangered. Next, the Columbia River tiger beetle. This beetle is a really interesting one because it's actually predatory, and it has to go and hunt down its prey. That's why it got the name tiger beetle. And when it runs to go and hunt down its prey, it actually goes so fast that it loses its vision entirely, meaning that it has to stop for periodic breaks to check where its prey even is. Next, the Idaho point-headed grasshopper. At one point in time, this grasshopper was actually thought to have gone extinct. But fortunately, in 2010, there was actually a small population found within Idaho. And because of conservation efforts, fortunately, this grasshopper has been brought back from the brink of extinction. Now, why is this happening to our insects in the first place? Unfortunately, there's only one true culprit, and that's us. Because of light pollution, habitat loss, overuse of pesticides, pet trades, and other harmful human activities, our insects have unfortunately started to feel the strain. Firstly, with light pollution. Many of our beetles, moths, as well as fireflies require dark night skies to be able to find out where they are and to find a mate. And so, because of overuse of outdoor lights, many of our insects become lost in this world of overlighting, unable to find a safe place. Next, habitat loss. Many of our insect species, such as our pollinators, require wildflowers to either lay their eggs on or to get nectar for themselves. And with many of their habitats being lost to urban sprawl or for agricultural use, many of our insect species no longer have a place to lay their eggs or a place to even find food, leading to the decline in their populations. But what are some ways to help? If you want to get your hands a little dirty, you can plant a pollinator garden. Not only will this help out the insects that are within your own community, but this can also help beautify your landscaping with lovely flowers. Nextly, some really simple things that you can do is just turning off your outdoor lights. As previously mentioned, many of our insects require dark night skies to be able to fulfill their life cycle. And so by simply turning off your outdoor lights, especially during the summer, you can help them really easily. Next, you can decrease your use of pesticides. By using a less amount of pesticides that don't target our pollinator species as well as other beneficial species, we can help preserve some of our insects and to let them continue their life cycle. Nextly, if you don't want to get your hands dirty, you can choose to donate to different nonprofits that serve insects and their conservation, such as the Xerces Society and the Society for the Protection of Insects. Now, after hearing me talk for over 8 minutes, you might be wondering why I even care in the first place. I first got involved with the presentation contest in 2022, and I presented on tiger beetles. I continued presenting for 4 more years, all of my presentations on insects. And as I was presenting, I found an unfortunate trend. Every single one of the insect species that I decided to present on had some form of either extinction or endangerment happening within their populations. And after doing all this research on these insects for over 4 years of my life, I knew that I could not sit around and not raise my voice about what is happening to our insects. And so I decided, as my final presentation of my 4-H career, I wanted to take a stand with the insects and to let people know ways that they can help them and how important they truly are to our ecosystems. Not only that, but insects also helped me to understand different careers that there were available to me. And now, after doing all this research on them, I want to become an entomologist to hopefully further awareness about insects and to continue studying them. Some sources that I used for this presentation are listed below. My conclusion. As I conclude this presentation, I'd like to go over a few key points that I mentioned within it. First, insects that are in decline, why insects are important in the first place, insects that are endangered, why insects are becoming endangered, ways to help insects, and why I care about insects. As you go forth into this world, I encourage you to make a choice not only to help our insects, but to help our future as a whole. Thank you.